Hey everybody, Steve here, getting ready for another road trip to explore some new cemeteries and do a little more grave hunting. And while I'm packing up and bringing all the extra things that I need for a trip like this, I got to thinking about this one item that I couldn't live without. I couldn't make these videos without this item. And it's something that I've never talked about on this channel, and I don't think I've ever shared it with any of you. And I thought you might also find it helpful. Whether you're out grave hunting or just doing anything else where you need your iPhone to film, and you'll be filming for a long time, and you may not have enough battery power in your iPhone to allow you to film all the things you want to film. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So when I'm out on a day trip or a longer road trip visiting cemeteries, let's just say I'm out just for a single day. It usually takes me a couple of hours to get to the cemetery and a couple hours to get back. So I'm on the road for at least 4 to 5 hours for these day trips. And so once I'm at the cemetery or cemeteries that I'm visiting, I want to visit and film as many grave sites as I possibly can. And I use my iPhone, which has a pretty good battery. It's an iPhone 12, but I just remembered that not only do I use the iPhone for filming, but I also use it for navigation to get to a lot of these places. Some of the cemeteries I've been to before, and I know how to get there, and I don't need to use the GPS map on my phone, but a lot of the cemeteries are first-time visits, and in order to get there, I need to use my GPS app, and that takes up a lot of battery power along the way. Now, you can plug your phone in when you're in the car, so that can be helpful. But if you start out on your trip and your phone is already full, I've heard it's not really good to keep your phone plugged in when the battery is already charged. It's better to wait until the battery is almost depleted before you plug it in and charge it again. Otherwise, it can cause your battery not to last as long. So I usually don't plug in my phone into the car charger when it's already fully charged when I'm first starting out on the trip. So I'm using by the time I get on a 2-hour trip, by the time I get to the first cemetery, I've already used quite a bit of battery power on my iPhone before I've even arrived and started filming. Now, I also like to listen to music on my Spotify channels, but again, that depletes a lot of battery power on your phone, so I usually don't do that, at least on the way to the cemeteries, on the way to wherever I'm going. I'll do that on the way home when my iPhone's already, the battery's already almost dead, and then I can plug it in and listen to music on the way home and charge the phone as well. But if someone calls you or texts you or whatever while you're on the way to the cemetery or when you're at the cemetery, that takes battery power to make phone calls. So if you're out on the road for an entire day, 8, 10, 12 hours, your iPhone battery is just not going to last that long. So years ago, I discovered that they have these little batteries like this, external batteries, and they're very powerful and they last quite a long time. You plug them into your iPhone and, well, actually you use the iPhone cord. So one part of the iPhone cord plugs in here. So this plug here is to plug in to charge, and then once it's charged, you take this out, and then you take this with you, and you just have your wide iPhone cord that you can plug in. You know, there are a couple of different plugs here you can see. Yeah, so you've got the USB side here at the bottom, you plug in, and then the other side of the plug goes into your phone. What I normally do, this external battery here, and it's fairly light, I plug it into the phone, to my iPhone, then I stick this into my pocket, my pants pocket, and my cord from this to my iPhone that I'm holding here, it goes all the way from my pocket to the phone. So if you've ever seen any of my videos where you see a shadow and it looks like there's a cord hanging out of my pocket or a cord attached to my iPhone, that's what it is. It means my iPhone battery is completely dying and I've got it plugged into this external battery. And it's really been a lifesaver. Now, in fact, I even got another one. This one is a square one. I think it has as much power, maybe even more. This is newer. I just bought this last year. The other one I bought maybe 5-6 years ago. So this one is just in its package, but it just looks like looks kind of like a mini iPhone. But this goes in your pocket again. You plug in the cord, plug it into your iPhone, and then you can walk around. Now, I don't know if it's meant to be used that way. I think it's mostly meant to be used when your iPhone is dead and you don't have anywhere to plug it in, you can just plug it in and then set it somewhere and let it charge, and it will charge fairly fast. But even though it might charge fairly fast, it's probably still going to take a half hour to 45 minutes to charge. And while I'm out on these trips, I don't have time to just sit for a half hour and wait, or 45 minutes for my phone to charge. So I just plug it in, put it in my pocket, and then I can just walk around and film while it's charging and plugged into the battery. I hope I'm explaining that so that it makes sense. But it's been a lifesaver, and that allows me now with 2 of these, I think I have enough battery power. I've never really tested it where I've filmed the entire day, my battery is completely dead, and I plug it in, and then I film on both of these external batteries. I'm not sure how long they would last. I'm guessing I could probably go 8 to 10 hours of filming with these 2 batteries plus a fully charged iPhone in the morning when I get started. So if I didn't have that, I would end up, and I think this probably happened to me early on when I first started filming and visiting cemeteries. I would take my iPhone, and back then they were, the batteries were much smaller and not half as long lasting as they are now in your iPhone. And I would go to a cemetery and film for an hour, and my battery would be dead, and that would be all I could do, and then I have to come home. Or I would plug it into the car and have to drive around or whatever and wait for an hour or two for the battery to recharge on the iPhone. So I'm glad I discovered this. It's been very helpful, and now I can just film all day, or pretty close to all day, if I happen to be out walking and filming and exploring in cemeteries or wherever. It just occurs to me, some of you are probably going to ask how much the external batteries are, and I didn't even think to check ahead of time, but you can check on Amazon. That's where I purchased both of these, and I don't remember them being that expensive. Maybe $25, $30, $40. I really don't remember. And the first one, like I said, I bought that before one of my long road trips back east, probably 5-6 years ago. The newer one I purchased fairly recently, but again, I don't remember exactly what the price was, but it wasn't very expensive and definitely worth whatever it cost. So the day before the road trip, there's a lot of preparation involved that I'm sure probably a lot of you watching these videos don't even realize how much goes into preparing to film. In fact, I also, for my other camera, this one that I'm using right now, my Sony ZV-1, that comes with these little batteries that I have 6 of those, and I have to charge all of those the day before, just make sure they're all fully charged, because I can go through at least 6 of those in one day. But then I also need to remember to charge the external battery backups, and those can take quite a long time. It seems like they both take hours, 2-3 hours or so to fully charge. So I get started early in the day, charging up all of my batteries the day before I take these road trips. So much goes on getting ready for these trips, and actually a lot of things go on at the cemeteries during the trip, before and after, and I usually don't share those things. I usually just focus on sharing the gravesite and the cemeteries, but I don't usually talk about a lot of the stuff that goes on before or after or even during, and I think I might start doing that on this channel. So the other channel is devoted to the gravesite visits. In case you're not familiar, in case you're new here, that channel, my second channel, is called, actually it was my first channel, this is my second channel, but that channel is called the Graveyard Channel. And I just thought it might be kind of fun to share some of the stuff that you don't see on that channel. I can share that on this channel. So anyway, thanks for joining me today, everybody, and I hope to see you all in the next video.